You said I lost my confidence. I started to dislike everything about my body and wanted to change how I looked.
I was a confident person. I was confident in the way I look, regardless. So I found myself not being that confident person anymore. I started to question everything. I didn't like my nose. I never had a problem with my nose. I never had a problem. And I started to look at myself in the mirror and I started to complain. I was saying, I would totally take the fat out of my tummy and put it in my hips. I started to point out every flaw that's on my body.
Pretty little melanin. Oh girl, you don't know the joy you bring. Love.
Okay, welcome back everyone to my channel. And I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who has been supporting me so far. And if you want to continue doing so, please just hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. All right. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And just to give you a little insight into my channel, I am an enthusiastic lifestyle vlogger, and my channel is mostly geared towards like my lifestyle, travel, inspirational things, informative things, you know, fun, and doing a little product reviews here and there. And today, for the first time, I would like to expand my channel by, you know, promoting individuals who are starting like small businesses or projects or blogs, and, you know, just persons like me who need the traffic and views to propel them to greatness, you know, and just to let the world know that we are here and we exist. So if you have a story to tell, a business or a blog or whatever it is to promote, just hit me up. And I will be happy to showcase your talents to the world. I will leave my contact information in the description box. All right. Now, today we have a very special guest. That's my friend Juleen Anderson. Welcome, Juleen, to my YouTube channel.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You're welcome. And, you know, Juleen and I knew each other in Japan, actually. So we crossed paths in Japan. Well, actually, before that, you know, because we
met at the interview when we were
right.
Yeah.
So we did our interview together to go to Japan as English teachers, and then voila, we met in Japan, in the same city. And
Yes.
that. And, you know, Juleen left Japan before I did, and fast forward some years later, here we are in Canada together.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm happy to have you here on my channel, and thank you.
And thank you for your support too. Thank you for reaching out. Like you said, I just started blogging again. And I'm trying to get that traffic as well. So yeah, really, it's I appreciate it very much. So thank you. This is literally my first YouTube interview. So yeah.
Well, you're doing well so far.
Yeah,
all right. So, you know, I was just scrolling through Facebook, right? And I came across your blog post, which was entitled Social Media and Mental Health. You know, and when I read it, it really had my attention from beginning to the end. And, you know, sometimes we tend to scroll through Facebook and we see our friends post something, and because initially I saw that you said that you were starting your blog and you wanted persons to support, etc. So given that I'm in that space as well, where, you know, I know what it takes for persons to be supporting my channel, I'm like, listen, anybody who is my friend, if them upload a YouTube channel, if them anything they're promoting, I am just going to take the time and go through it. So here I was going through your channel, I mean your post, and, you know, I was reading it, and it just really had my attention from beginning to the end, you know, especially because I could relate so much to it, and I'm sure many others too. And one of the things that really caught my attention was where you stated that you lost your confidence. There were feelings of hatred, anxiousness, and just so much more. And today we're going to get into that, and just you let us know how you were able to overcome it.
Yeah.
But before we do so, I know everyone wants to know, who is Juleen? Just tell us a little bit about you and things that you like, etc.
Yeah. So I'm always stumped when I get that question. I never know how to answer it, but I'll do my best. So I'm Juleen. Yes, I'm from Jamaica. I'm currently living in Canada, of course. We stated that already. I consider myself an introvert, but an extrovert when needed. So I'm a homebody. I do prefer staying at home and just reading, watching TV, talking to friends. Crowds make me anxious and nervous, but if I'm around a small group of people that I know, then I'm just talking. I love online shopping.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I love online shopping. I love dressing up.
Okay.
I love traveling. Traveling is like my top interest. I love traveling because I love exploring different cultures and food. And I love reading and writing, really and truly. Family is the most important thing to me. And peace of mind. Like I'll put family and peace of mind over wealth and everything else. And that's from experience, really and truly. And I firm believer in God. I put God in everything I do. So yeah, that's Juleen in a
Not
nutshell.
true. Right. Thank you so much. That's perfect. If you were doing an interview, like, for a job or something, hey, I'd be if I was in, like a hiring manager, I'd be so intrigued. So you nailed that
Okay,
one.
good. Maybe I should save that response if I need to do an interview again.
You nailed that one.
Yeah.
All right. So, the name of your journal is entitled Stuck in My Head. I absolutely love that, tagline. I love the title so much. And, I just want to know, how did you come up with that title?
It was a struggle. Like I thought about it. Like I know what I want from my blog. I know what my blog would be about, but I was like, I need to have a title. Like, so I struggled for weeks with a title. And then I was like, one day I was like, I don't know what happened. And I was like, I remember berating myself and saying, June, you're always stuck in your head about things. And I'm like, stuck in my head. That could be an interesting title. And so that's why I came up with it. Because really and truly, I am stuck in my head. Everything I write on my blog is what it's going on up here. Like
Okay.
I feel like I have if everyone has a different outlook on life and a different take. But for me, I'm always analyzing stuff. I'm always mulling over certain things, and it's a constant thing in my head
Yeah.
going on. If there's a statement, I'm always over analyzing, overthinking, assessing that, so much so that I have a chronic insomnia because my brain doesn't rest.
I think you're speaking about me right here.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
my next topic
it's
actually,
so me.
insomnia.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That's so me. Trust me, I can relate to everything that you're saying. And I thought, am I crazy? Am I just, why am I this person? Why do
Yeah.
I feel like this? Why do I
So
think like
much
this?
too. Yeah. So that's basically it. So I'm always thinking, there's always thinking about stuff. Even like, for example, I'll go out and the sky is gray, and in my head I'm starting mulling over why the sky is gray, what's the reason, and it just takes up so much space in my head. And that's where I came up with it. Like everything that I'm posting on my blog are the things that I think about in my head. I'm always stuck in my head with everything, and so
Yeah.
that's how the name came about. Stuck in my head.
Well, I have to say, I really like it. It really, it's just speaking a lot of truth, and things that you think about on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think many persons can really relate to all those things. And the fact that you have the ability to put what you are thinking on paper, for the world to see, then, that's just really fantastic. Because I am not any writer or anything, so I know that can be struggling.
It is,
Good.
especially when you have a million things that you want to put on paper, but you want to, especially like for me, stuck in my head, I try to get everything out of my head onto paper, but if I can't do that, like I really have to tame everything in my head to make sure that it makes sense to those who are reading, because I have so much going on
Yeah.
up there. So
I
yeah.
get it. I get it. All right. So, in your journal, you stated that your dream is to become a successful author and blogger. What inspired that dream?
So I think it started when I was young. So I was always keen on writing. So I remember getting my first journal, the journal with a little keychain, a key lock. And I
Yeah.
remember getting that because I was never good at expressing myself verbally, but I could write down what I was feeling. So
Mhm.
I started doing journaling when I was maybe 8. So I started writing how I felt and everything. And I think from there, I realized that I liked writing because it was a way for me to express myself and my thoughts when I couldn't do that verbally. And then when I went to high school, a friend and we both love writing and reading. So we started exchanging Nancy Drew books.
Okay.
And yeah, Nancy Drew, Tom Hardy's. And I don't remember that Roma. Is it Mills and Booms? I think
Yes.
that's the name. So we started exchanging those in high school
Mhm.
and keeping a list. And I realized that I fell in love with fictional writing. Like I like the fact that you can have you can just recreate an entire reality that you can do whatever you want with it. So I fell in love with fictional writing. And so from there, I was like, this is what I want to do with life. I want to create fictional realities where persons can enjoy themselves. I want to take everything out of my head because I have a big imagination. There's always something happening up there. And I was like, I could put all of that on paper
Yeah.
somehow and persons would enjoy it. And I can do whatever I want because it's fiction.
Mhm.
So that's how I was like, this is what I want to do in life. And I realized I wasn't bad at writing too. So I was like, this is what I want to do in life. So that's where it came up. From 8, I wanted to write. I wanted to be an author.
Um,
And that hasn't changed. It's just that COVID has made me realize, when adulthood hit and the bills and everything, your
yeah.
dreams go by the wayside.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to, get back to that.
Well, guess what? Look at you are one step or probably many more steps closer to that dream because hey, you started your blog and I'm sure it's getting some attention. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping after this it will get more attention
More
and
attention.
you will just, end up being a successful blogger and writer. And I'm sure it will come, you just have to keep consistent and, you know,
Yeah, consistency is the key,
is the
right?
key,
And to be
right?
honest, if even if I publish my book and that's where I'm at the moment, even if I publish a book and I never sell a copy, I feel like I will still feel accomplished
Mhm.
because I'm doing something that I've always wanted
Wanted to
to
do.
do. So
That's
while I
great.
love the recognition and the success that comes with it, I'm at a place in my life where I've put it off for so long that just accomplishing that dream for me is success in and of itself.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at the moment. Is that I'm doing it, and I feel
Right.
so good that I'm doing it. Yeah.
Well, I thought just came to my mind. Um, for example, like the blog post that you post, that you put up on Facebook. Maybe you could just compile, like after you have a few of those posts, you could compile those and just put it in a book, and just have, it's just about life or,
Stuck in
or
my
stuck
head.
in my head, basically.
Yeah,
The entire the book stuck it.
stuck
Listen,
in my head.
anybody will watch this thing, don't teeth it.
I shouldn't have. And
Right?
I've thought about exactly what you said. I was like, even if I never um get around to writing, because I'm still scared.
Yeah.
Like I've actually penciled out 2 books
Wow.
on my phone, and I'm so afraid of starting. I find it easier to write a blog post than starting a book.
Yeah.
But you're right. I have thought about after like 16, 17 blog
Just pile them
posts, I
together.
could just put it together, and I may think about that some more. So
yeah, man. Entitled stuck in my head or something.
I really need to trademark that, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So, what I want to get more deep into today was the social media and mental health. You stated that you started to observe certain behavior and thought patterns, and how it affected you mentally. I want to talk a little bit about that today because I know so many persons, suffer from a lot of these things, and not many persons are vulnerable to speak on it, So I'm here looking at your post, and I will, put the link in the description box so persons can go ahead and read it for themselves. All right. So I just want to read something that you said right here.
Yeah.
You said that social media offers its users opportunities for connection, networking, easy access to news, sharing, creating, and collecting information. The benefits of social media in terms of accessibility, connection, and creativity is immaculate, and its reach cannot be denied. However, these same glorious factors have contributed to an era of trolls, bullies, segregation, hate speeches, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, keyboard violence, and the recent cancel culture. Boy, girl, that cancel culture is really low.
God, I tell you.
The amount of persons I've seen that they have canceled
It's
on
ridiculous.
social media for this year. It's crazy, man. It's like there's no forgiveness anymore.
No.
There is like social media is your master,
Yeah.
And you go on further to say that you started to notice a few things about yourself and you documented them.
Yes.
One of the things that you stated was that you said, I was desensitized to violence. I had no emotional reaction to seeing a post depicting violence in any shape or form. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. And that for me, with all of these things, these changes that, we're about to discuss, these are things that I didn't even know was what that was happening until I really started to do some self-reflection. So let's talk about the violence. I don't know when it happened, but I can say when you're on social media and you're seeing mass murders, you're seeing another girl going missing, you're seeing every other post is something about rape, assault, murder, and all of these violent acts. You probably say, oh my God. And then that, oh my God, after seeing 50 of those posts in say a week becomes, okay, so this is a regular thing. Okay, all right. This is you start accepting. That's what I started doing. I was like,
you
okay,
become numb to it.
I was like, okay, so another girl has gone missing. Yep, this is life. That's how I started saying, this is life. I still felt that pinch of regret and empathy. But then my mind was also saying, well, another day, another girl got missing. What's new? And what's new? And then the next week again, it's the same thing. It's the same pictures. It's the same things. The same violence. It's the same everything. And then what's new has turned to just scroll. Oh, it's another girl got missing. Okay, just scroll. Scroll. Nothing, because that's all I'm seeing. That's all my brain is processing. My emotions, though, I wasn't even processing anymore because I was just seeing it after one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. So that empathy moved to, oh well, it's another day, to move into nothing at all, to just nothing. Like I felt nothing.
Wow.
So.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, and I'm sure many other persons, feel that way as well. And it reminds me of, when you are sick and you go to the hospital, the doctors or nurses, okay, another sick person come in, no matter how you inside feel like you're dead, But then to them, it's like, oh, you're
another
just
day,
another patient. Yeah. You may live, you may die. So it go, that kind of thing. So I think it's probably
the same
very
thing.
similar, and it's just the frequency at which it happens.
Exactly.
So it makes you, it's like it's a routine thing, and you just become so numb to it that you don't really have a big, oh my gosh, reaction to it,
anymore. Yeah. It's become a part of your life. It's become a part of the content that you're consuming on social media. So to me at the time, seeing another news about somebody getting killed, it's like seeing you posting another picture. It's the same reaction for me, because I saw it so much.
Yeah. That's really sad. But
it's frightening, actually.
It's frightening. Yeah, it is. But the good thing is that you were able to, make yourself aware of this. You've started noticing this thing. So now, has it changed? Like, are you now more sensitive, or are you still desensitized to these things?
I think I'm not desensitized anymore. I think once you realize that what I've realized is I never lost my empathy. I was just not allowed to empathize because I was being bombarded every day. Okay. Once you take that break and everything, you give your brain and your emotions time to process, that's when that empathy and those feelings come back, because you're no longer consuming all these negative contents. Now you're sitting down and reflecting, and it's like all of that emotion that was just being clamped down by post after post after post. It's like a lid has been lifted again, and you're able to feel. So it's not like, for me, I never lost it per se. It's just that I wasn't getting the time to process it after another. When I gave myself that break, I was now able to process everything, because now I was doing more self-reflection on what has been happening, and all of those feelings came back.
Really. Okay, well, that's good to know. Good to know. All right, so another thing that you documented, about yourself was that you said, I lost my confidence. And I mentioned this earlier. You said, I lost my confidence. I started to dislike everything about my body and wanted to change how I looked. I know that must touch deep for you.
It does, and it still does, because it's still something that I'm working through. Even now. But everyone on social media, and everyone is about to watch this. How social media is now. You see, you're told that you need to look a particular way now, and it's done so subtle now that you don't realize that you're comparing yourself with everybody else. So now you have the rise of influencers, and if you look at it, all influencers look the same way, and I'm not gonna mince my words. You have the pouty butt, you have the straight nose, you have the tiny waist, and you have the big butt,
hips
and hips, right? And you have the flat tummy. And then you're seeing that, because everyone is using influencers to promote their products and everything. And you have the celebrities who also want to be perfect themselves because they're in the limelight, right? And so you're scrolling every day, and you are seeing the same images, and you see worse when you read the comments. All of these persons get the most comments, they get the most likes, they get the most praise, versus somebody that looks like, I'm not even gonna say me, versus somebody who looks different, though beautiful, does not get the same attention. And then you see this every day. And then I saw that every day. And I started to question everything. I didn't like my nose. I never had a problem with my nose. I never had a problem with my face. The only thing is, I always said I wanted to lose weight, but I never wanted the tiny waist or the big ass or the pouty lips or any of that stuff. I never had a problem with my face. I always thought my face was the best part of my body. And even that, I started to question, because I was like, well, I don't look anything like these girls. And this is what society is telling me that I need to look like, because that's all I'm seeing on social media.
Mhm.
And I started to look at myself in the mirror and I started to complain. I was like, well, I started to say in my head, if I had money, if I won a lot, I literally started to say these things in my head. I was like, if I won a lotto, the first thing I would do was this surgery.
Oh boy.
I'm afraid of needles, by the way.
Mhm.
I've never done surgery. I don't even like hospitals. And I found myself saying, I would totally take the fat out of my tummy and put it in my hips. I never had a problem with that before.
Oh boy.
I was like,
Well,
insane. And I was a confident person. I was confident in the way I look, regardless. And I
yeah,
found
because
myself,
that's how I know you. I know you as that
right?
kind of person. Yeah.
And then I found myself not being that confident person anymore. I started to point out every flaw that's on my body. Flaw, and I put that in quotes because what persons consider flaws, I don't.
Right.
So that's subjective. But
Right.
there's a universal flaw on social media now. And I started to think that, yes, okay, so every part of me is flawed. And so it got so bad where I didn't even want to go out. Like everything I put on,
Mhm.
I didn't want to wear. I started exercising way too much. I was starving myself because I wanted to lose weight
Wow.
and I wanted
Wow.
to look like the girls on social media because that's all I was seeing. That's the standard of beauty now, which is just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking the same. And so I started, when you're being bombarded by not only celebrities and the photoshops, and it's like every society is telling you that you need to look a certain way. Social
Yeah.
media now has face tunes. I don't even know if I'm saying it properly. Photoshopping, and then you have people advertising products that can do this and do
Yeah.
that. So every sector of society and social media is subtly telling you that
This is how you need to look.
this is how you need to look. We're going to push these products.
Yeah.
And so even if you're not seeing the influencers, you're getting the ad products.
Yeah.
Rub this on your thigh and make it bigger. What's that telling you? It's telling you that small hips, small thigh people don't matter.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
and then you don't even realize that that's seeping into your psyche. And so that's
Yeah.
what happened to me. I lost all confidence. I just started to hate everything about my body and wanted to change everything, every single thing. I lost the confident person that I was just because social media told me that my beauty is not the standard.
Mm-hmm. I just want to ask you, for the viewers who are watching, when did this start for you? When did this happen for you? Is it your adult age? When did this happen for you?
To be honest, I don't even know how to answer that question because it could have started. For me, I think it started when it came onto the body issues. I think it started a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but got worse over time when I started to consume more content.
But would you say it got worse within the past, 1 to 2 years?
Definitely got worse within the past 2 years, worse, and then within the past year. After COVID and just being at home and consuming even more content, it got much worse. So yeah, definitely. I want to say to your viewers though, a lot of these things that I'm talking about, they could have been happening for years, and you don't realize until you actually start saying, "Oh,
really
that's
thinking about it." Yeah,
thinking about it.
Or sometimes even you don't realize until you see information like this, like things that we're talking about, come up, and you say, but wait, I'm going through this and I didn't even realize it, And the reason why I ask, how long ago is because a lot of persons believe that probably, us at our age, or they see us at our age, and they think, oh, these guys, they look well put together, they're okay, all is well in the world with them, and they don't even know that sometimes, sometimes we put out, you know, like a strong exterior, but deep down inside, we are going through hard struggles.
Yeah.
So I just want, you know, the viewers to realize that it doesn't matter at any age. And I realize that it's right now it's affecting a lot of the younger generation, younger kids who are, as soon as they get some money, they want to change something about their body. And like 15, 17, they say, oh, mommy, daddy, I can't have some money. I need to fix my nose. I need to, and I'm like, and then sometimes even after now, they fix the nose or they fix whatever, it's just worse. It's like, wow, then no, you hear everybody come from all walks of life. I didn't love your nose before. Why you change it? You know? So I think we just really need to love the body that God gave us. He gave us for a reason. And, you know, at the end of the day, if we are trying to do these things, who are we really doing it for?
Exactly, because
you know?
at the end of the day, like what I found out is that beauty standards change,
right?
Just like society changes. Years ago, it was what the skinnier you are, your standard of beauty, and then 3 years ago now you have to have a big butt, big everything. So you will never please. The standards of beauty will change.
Right.
So are you gonna change your look every time the standard of, and I don't even know why I'm saying standard of beauty. There should not be a standard.
Right.
What society tells you is beautiful. Are you gonna change that all the time?
Yeah. I mean, the Lord says, you know, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So hey, you know, who don't like it, bye-bye. Take it or leave it.
Right?
All right. So, you know, that was just some heavy stuff. And for you to even put that out there, you know, that requires a real level of vulnerability, you know, to show and to tell the world that, listen, I lost my confidence, I went through this, etc. You know, I remember even when I put out my depression video, girl, it was the hardest thing for me to do. But it was I just felt like, okay, at this point, I had to put out this video, you know, for persons just to know me more or can relate to me more. And let me tell you, you see, even though like some 1 or 2 persons would comment, you know, underneath it, there were so many persons who reached out to me on the back end, you know, by a Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, like people who never hear from before in my life, you know, who probably were Facebook friends, but we just never spoke. And they reach out to me and they say, Karen, I went through the same thing. I know how you feel, etc. And they were just giving me encouraging words, you know, etc. I mean, by that time I was over the depression moment, but you know, it just goes to show that so many persons go through it. Not many persons are strong enough to be vocal about it. So it's good that you are showing your vulnerability. You know,
and that's
shows
something
that you're
hard
real.
for me. Yeah, it's to open up and to be vulnerable like that. But I felt like I just needed to, because I know I'm not alone. Right. There's no way everything that I've documented, I'm the only one that has experienced it. No way. So yeah.
I want to touch on something which is, you know, very controversial. And it's where you stated that you began feeling hatred, such a strong word, towards a particular race or group of people. Let's talk about that, girlfriend, because I know a lot of persons are afraid to speak on race. I myself tend to stray away from certain topics relating to that because it's such a controversial thing. And sometimes the moment you bring it up, as you said, people say, listen, me, I cancel that person because them talk about it. So tell me about that hatred. Why you use that word?
You know what, I thought about that. You know, when I wrote that blog post and I wrote that line, I was like, God, what am I doing? Maybe I deleted it so many times, and I was like, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be honest. And maybe hatred is a strong word, but at the end of the day, that's how I could express myself. So like, you're right, it is a hard thing to to talk about. But yeah, on I did start to feel a certain way about a certain type of race. As a person, I'm not gonna even mince words, as a person of color, and you go on social media and you see the things that happen with the Black Lives Matter movement, the things that are happening with the anti-Asian movement, and you see you see everything that happened with the US election and everything during President Trump, and then you read the comments, and the comments are so nasty, and you can't believe that people have
Think this way.
this particular view towards a certain race. And then the trope is it's a particular race that's actually doing that kind of stuff. Then as a person, and I am mincing my words because I really don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
But then it's like you start feeling like I don't really like that particular race of people. Why are they always the ones that their comments are just so nasty? In the news, it's that particular race. It's the person who are perpetuating all these behaviors are a particular race. And social media was feeding me all of this information. I'm seeing all of this being happening to minority groups, largely perpetuated by a majority group. And you start to think, I started to feel a certain way towards that majority group. And I just, seeing everything on social media and being fed all these things and reading the comments and realizing that there are people who generally have these views out there, I just started to feel a certain, I don't want to use the word hatred again, but I was not happy with a particular race. And I started to I just started to feel a type of way about a particular race. And it's looking back on it, it's so wrong, because even though these things are happening, it is never the majority. It is always a minority. But that's not what you see on Facebook. That's not what you see on Instagram. That's not what you see on social media. The minority are so loud with their views that you think it's the majority. And so I was just being bombarded by all of that stuff, and so I started to feel a certain way towards a group. And I never realized until I was like, where did this come from? And I realized it has to be everything that's happening in the media, on social media, every day. And so basically that's what happened. When I took a step back from social media, when I realized that that feeling of resentment towards particular races, I realized that I started doing my research, and I started looking at people around me, people that I have in my life who are of the same races that I have resentment towards. And I was like, when you really analyze it, when I really started to analyze and to do my research, it's not the majority. A majority of persons don't have that the feelings that you see on Facebook. Really and truly, people don't have that. And even if they do, it's more of ignorance waiting to be educated than just pure hatred, right? And I started to do that, but I realized though that with social media, the minority, and I really think it's a minority, the ones who spew hate, they're really the minority, but they do it. It's like empty barrels. They make the most noise. They just take over the entire room and they amplify everything, and they're on every post, and they have all of these things. And you're seeing, while persons who don't feel that way, they probably are not engaging because they're saying, I don't really want to go with this. So you have all the negative comments from the same bunch of people. But in your head you're like, well, all of them are like this, but really actually it's a minority, and it's wrong to judge an entire,
put everybody in the same
everything. And so I had to do that. I had to step back, and I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's probably what they're doing. I'm doing exactly what what those bullies and trolls on the internet are doing, and putting everybody in one boat. And so I had to really think about that and be like, come on, Juleen, you're better than that.